All right, welcome back. Here's our GMC tweet of the night from Spot Track. Most guarantees in NFL history: Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. Burrow signing that big deal, or agreeing to the big deal, $275 million, $219 guaranteed. You know, we were just talking on the way down here. Who's next up for a deal like that? I mean, Joe Burrow, highest paid, richest contract in NFL history tonight.
Trevor Lawrence, if you're going by just the way, the timeline in which these things tend to get done, if Trevor Lawrence has a big third year, I would think, and takes the Jags at least to an AFC title game, I would think he's the obvious choice around the NFL, Richie, because Burrow played 3 years, had 2 AFC title games and a Super Bowl appearance to his credit, very nearly a Super Bowl title. So I would think Lawrence is the next guy on that track. It's kind of just a funny thing. We all know how much harder that makes it to win a Super Bowl when you guarantee that much money to one player, and how quarterback salary structures have really changed the dynamic of roster building. So you're like in the Steelers situation right now, and you desperately want to make the most of the time Kenny Pickett's on his rookie deal. But it's just ironic that the thing is, you want to end up being in a position where you feel like Pickett's been good enough that you do feel obligated to pay him that money. If he's not, then you know that you don't have a top-tier quarterback. All the teams on that list, except for the Browns, who, you know, maybe they'll get the real version of Deshaun Watson. Maybe they're going to get a lemon, basically, that they committed $230 million to. But the other 4 players on that list, I mean, those guys are all studs. Everybody knows what those players are all about.
All right, let's go back out to the phone lines. We got Dave out in Moon. How you doing, Dave?
Hi, gentlemen. Tomorrow, September 8th, is the 5th anniversary of a very important event in Pittsburgh sports history, and I wondered if either of you could tell me what it is.
I'm going to take a stab at it. The 5th anniversary?
Yes.
September 8th.
No, now I just jumped in.
2018.
Yeah, I know. I jumped in on it. I jumped in thinking at first that he had said 10 years or something, and I was going to say Pirates clinched a winning season finally, something like that. But no, now I'm drawing blanks because I jumped the gun on what year it was.
All right, Dave, give it away.
Well, I'll give you 2 numbers, 51 and 6. Penn State 51, Pitt 6. I thought you 2 Pitt fans would appreciate being reminded of that.
Look, I blocked that kind of stuff out.
That's a notable day in Center County sports history, isn't it? I mean, isn't that a day for the denizens of Center County, for the Mill Halls, for the Bellefonts, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a notable day in Pittsburgh. That's for sure. I mean, maybe
that's a notable day in Bowlesburg history, Richie, in Phillipsburg history, in Port Matilda history. They can have it out there. God bless them.
Trying to rub that in. You know, you got a pick guy up here. Thanks a lot, Dave. I appreciate that. You know, I just told...
No, you don't. Neither of us appreciates it, Richie. We don't like that he reminded us of that. You don't have to play nice here.
Look, I just hope that Pitt and Penn State, since we're on the subject, I want to keep pushing it. You know, I try to do it as much as I can. Pitt and Penn State need to play. Pitt wants to play. Penn State doesn't. So they have to figure it out. I wish politicians would get involved. Something would happen. This game needs to happen every year. I mean, college football. I know it's not going to happen.
I don't want the
politicians. Might not happen for 20
I don't want
years.
the politicians to get involved. I don't.
Well, it
I
worked in West Virginia, right? It worked in Virginia. I mean, politicians got involved in making those schools play.
I just don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. I don't think this is ever going to be a regularly resumed rivalry. I think that's a bummer. That's bogus. That's ridiculous. I do think that the onus is entirely on Penn State here for why it's not going to happen. My one editorial comment on Penn State is 1 week in, they might have found themselves a legit big-time quarterback, and that would change the calculus for whether or not that team can make it to the playoff before it expands to 12.
Yeah, no question. That looks like the guy, right? They look like they have a good team. I can't wait to see them up against Michigans and the Ohio States of the world this year. So I think Penn State has as good a shot as anyone else in NCAA right now, college football.
Well, what they have is a guy who, unlike Sean Clifford, like Drew Aller made every big play. I got to tip my cap. You know, I might get called a hater because I went there and never rooted for the team and always rooted for Pitt and what have you, but you know, I watched that guy play that game and make plays that I'm not accustomed to Penn State quarterbacks making.
Back with more of your phone calls coming up next. Stay right there.